Have you ever noticed what happens the moment you let someone's passing comment completely ruin your day? I mean, every single time you react impulsively to the world around you, you're quite literally surrendering your own power. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating blueprint derived from the brilliant mind of Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. We're going to explore how to transition from living in a constant state of reaction and vulnerability into becoming emotionally untouchable. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about mastering yourself so completely that absolutely nothing external can throw you off balance.
To get us there, we'll be navigating through 5 core pillars today: the trap of constant reaction, the art of letting go, the power of silence, becoming your own priority, and finally, the untouchable presence.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the trap of constant reaction.
First off, we really need to look at why we so freely give away our power to external opinions in the first place. I want to pose a direct question to you right now. Why do you react so much? Like, why do we care so deeply about feeling accepted, approved of, or validated by people who, frankly, often don't even matter? If a random comment disturbs or destabilizes you, it's very rarely because that person actually holds any real power over you. The truth is actually much more profound. It rattles you because it hits something within you that you just haven't mastered yet.
Carl Jung famously defined this unmastered territory as the shadow. Basically, your uncontrolled emotional reactions are simply reflections of these unresolved internal shadows. Every single time you jump to defend yourself, or you respond with this burst of anger or frustration, you're broadcasting to the world that they can affect you. You're showing them your shadow. But think about it. What happens when absolute chaos unfolds around you and you remain completely at peace? Well, that is the exact moment you become untouchable. So how do we actually train for this?
To train your mind to stop reacting, we're going to use these really actionable steps. And honestly, the absolute game changer here is step 1. Pause for 5 seconds before responding. Most of us are just wired to answer defensively without thinking. By inserting a deliberate 5-second pause, you take all that control right back. Next, observe as a spectator. Jung noted that, not everything requires your participation. You can watch chaos unfold like a movie without actually jumping into the screen. Then, practice selective indifference, consciously choosing what actually deserves your precious energy. And finally, maintain neutral body language. When someone tries to push you off center, a calm posture and silence, man, those are incredibly powerful weapons that show them they hold literally zero power over you.
Now that we've tackled reactions, we have to confront our greatest weakness. Section 2, the art of letting go. We are culturally conditioned to believe that letting go is losing, that walking away means you're just giving up. But look at the contrast here. It brilliantly illustrates the difference. Clinging is staying where you just don't belong, purely out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of making a mistake. It totally drains your energy. Freedom, on the other hand, is detaching so you can accept what is genuinely yours, without forcing it. Anything you have to beg to stay, or anything that costs you your peace, is simply too expensive. Letting go isn't losing at all. It's ultimate liberation. What you resist persists. What you accept transforms you. I want you to just let that sink in for a second. Jung deeply understood that detachment is a fundamental process for true personal growth. Letting go is just accepting that certain people or situations were only meant to teach you a lesson, not stay in your life forever. Those who can't release are basically still slaves to their fear. But those who accept and let go, they transform.
Let's actually do a quick mental liberation exercise together right now. Think of a burden you're really struggling to release. Maybe it's a rocky relationship, a stressful situation, or some heavy old expectation. Got it? Okay, now ask yourself, what would happen if I simply stopped carrying this? Just imagine the profound lightness and peace that would instantly follow. That feeling of relief right there, that's undeniable proof that letting go is the right choice. You have to trust that what's truly meant for you comes effortlessly. If you have to force it, well, it was never yours to begin with.
All right, let's move right into Section 3, the power of silence.
In a world where everyone desperately wants to be seen, heard, and validated all the time, the person who actually knows how to remain quiet holds an unparalleled advantage. Every unnecessary word you utter literally becomes a piece of information that others can use against you. When you talk excessively, over-explain, and constantly justify yourself to everyone, you're just handing out ammunition. You strip away your value, your depth, and your strategic advantage. You become completely predictable. And the reality is, what people cannot decipher deeply intrigues them.
Look at how these tactical advantages stack up to build this incredible psychological shield.
By not revealing your plans early, you let your results do the talking. You don't explain your decisions because, frankly, you owe no one an explanation. You maintain a neutral facial expression, and you learn to genuinely enjoy silence without feeling that anxious need to just fill the void and prove yourself. And again, use the power of the pause when someone asks you a difficult question. By keeping your weaknesses completely private and just speaking less overall, you become entirely unpredictable. It forces people to respect you because you project this quiet, unwavering confidence.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, becoming your own priority.
Now, silence alone really isn't enough if you're still living your life for other people. We need to effectively destroy the guilt associated with putting yourself first. Society conditions us from such an early age to feel terrible about prioritizing our own needs. But look at this crucial distinction here. Selfishness is demanding things from others without giving anything back. But self-love, that's entirely different. It's giving, sure, but without allowing yourself to be depleted. When you start actually prioritizing yourself, you stop being this easy option that people can just use at their convenience. You establish real standards.
It's a hard truth, but read this carefully. If you do not prioritize yourself, you will always be an option and never a priority. Think about it. If you're constantly sacrificing your own time and well-being for others without getting the same in return, you are quite literally training people to value you less. If you're always available and you always say yes, people are just going to assume you have no life of your own. The bottom line is, if you don't respect your own boundaries, absolutely no one else will either.
So, let's put this into practice with a one-week actionable experiment to reclaim your boundaries. Try this starting today. First, practice saying no, thank you to something you genuinely just don't want to do, and do it without explaining why. Second, stop giving your energy to situations where there is zero reciprocity. Third, cut access to those people who only ever take from you. And fourth, invest time in yourself first without any external interruptions. If you do this for just 1 week, you're going to observe something fascinating. The people who truly value you will respect those boundaries, and the ones who are only around for their own convenience, they'll simply disappear.
Let's move to the final section and see how all of this builds together. Section 5, the untouchable presence.
This right here is the ultimate climax, the complete transformation of how the world perceives your physical and emotional energy. Carl Jung called this highly magnetic state individuation. Basically, it's the psychological process of becoming a complete, self-sufficient person. It means you no longer rely on the external world for validation. You no longer beg. You no longer chase. You stop existing entirely on the terms of the world, and suddenly, the world magically starts responding to yours. When you reach this level of self-assurance, your presence becomes literally magnetic. People inherently respect those who aren't afraid to lose anything, because they can just sense that your security comes from within.
But you know, reaching this level is one thing. Maintaining it is a whole other challenge. To consolidate this untouchable state so you never fall back into that validation-seeking dependency, you really need to rely on 3 key principles. First, never put anyone above your peace. If someone constantly makes you doubt your worth, they simply do not belong in your circle. Second, stop justifying your decisions. Just stand firm in your choices. And finally, surround yourself with secure, independent people. If you're hanging around insecure individuals who constantly need external validation, it's really only a matter of time before they drag you right back down into that reactive cycle.
Becoming untouchable is definitely not an act of arrogance. It's an act of profound personal power. It is the daily decision to stop chasing, stop explaining, and become this mystery that prioritizes itself. So I'm going to leave you with a final provocative question. Consider this a challenge for you today. Are you ready to declare, I choose to be unattainable for anything that does not add value to my life? Just reflect on how your life could change if you truly protected your energy starting right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Step into your highest untouchable self, and I'll catch you next time.